Hello students, welcome back to my channel once again. So today we will be discussing CBSE Board Grade 10, that is a chapter Statistics. So this is going to be the part 3 of the video. In the earlier two videos I explained about the statistics, how to find the mean. So I already explained in the first video that there are three methods to find the mean value. So in the first video, I explained about the direct method. In the second, I explained about the assumed mean method. And in this video, we are going to explain about the step deviation method. Okay, so let's take a look what is the formula and let us solve some problems using step deviation method. So the formula for step deviation method is x bar, that is the mean, equal to a plus a. Already you know, in the previous video we learned about the assumed mean method, that a is the assumed mean. So a plus summation of a phi ui divided by summation of a phi into h. So now here we have introduced a new term, that is u. So let us understand what u is. So here x bar is the mean, a is the assumed mean, a phi is the frequency, and ui is the deviation by your that class width, that is h. Okay, so now let's apply this formula and let us solve some problems. Consider the following distribution of daily wages of 50 workers of a factory. So daily wages is given and the number of workers are also given in the table. Find the mean daily wages of the workers of the factory by using an appropriate method. So here you can clearly see that the class interval, it is a long, normally we use the step deviation method when we have a large value of class interval, and we use the direct mean method. I already explained that earlier also, normally when we have a smaller value. Okay, but one thing you have to keep it in mind, since as we explained in the formula that it involves that class width. So if your class width is not same in all the class intervals, then you can't apply this step deviation method. Then we are going to apply the assumed mean method. Okay, so whenever we have a large value and the class width is same, then we are going to apply this step deviation method. Now class interval, frequency fi, that is now class mark xi, and now here is a new term, that is ui. Ui is the, earlier we learned about the d, that is xi minus a. So ui is basically di by h. Okay, that is the deviation by class width. Then finally we need to calculate fi ui. So now let's copy the class interval over here. So this is, you can clearly see this is a continuous class. Now let's copy the frequency. Now let's calculate the class mark, that is lower limit plus upper limit by 2. So now let's calculate the class width over here. So we will just subtract the consecutive two lower limits. We will get 20 over here, and then we keep on adding h to the xi to get the next xi. So let's add this, and okay, so now we got all the xi values. Now let us find the ui. So to find the ui value, first we need to assume any value from xi column as a, that is the assumed mean. So normally we take the middle value of it. So let us take the middle one here, 150, that is the a value. So now let's replace that a with 150. Now let us calculate it. So EY is, the formula is xi minus a by 20 is the class width. So let's put the value minus 2. Now let us subsequently find the other values as well. Okay, so now we got all the UI values. Now let us do the multiplication of fi with ui and we will get the fi ui. So let's do the multiplication now. Okay, so finally we got all the fi ui values. Now we need to find the summation of fi, that is adding all the fi's. So we got 50 over here, and then finally we also need to do the summation of fi ui, that is adding all the fi ui as well. So we got minus 12 over here. So by step deviation method, we know that the mean x bar is equal to a plus summation of fi ui by summation of fi into h. H is the class width. So now let's put the values over here. Minus 12 for fi ui, summation of fi ui divided by summation of fi is 50 and class width is 20. Now we got 150 plus minus 24 by 5. So which is 150 minus 4.8 is coming 145.20. So that is in the question it is given that they are asking for daily wages. So it should be in the terms of rupees. Okay. So the final mean value is rupees 145.20. Now let's take a look at the second problem. In a retail market, fruit vendors were selling mangoes kept in packing boxes. These boxes contained varying number of mangoes. The following was the distribution of mangoes according to the number of boxes. So the number of mangoes are given and the number of boxes are also given. Find the daily mean of mangoes kept in a packaging box. Which method of finding the mean did you choose? So here what we want to find? We have to find the daily mean of mangoes kept in the box. So let's make the table. Class interval, frequency, fi, class mark, xi, then ui equal to xi minus a by h, and then finally fi ui. So now just copy the class interval from the question and similarly the frequency. Now here the class mark we need to calculate, that is lower limit plus upper limit by 2. Now class width we need to get the subsequent class in like upper limit minus lower limit. Sorry, my mistake is to subsequent lower limit. We have to subtract and then add it to the xi value. So in this way we will get the class mark. Okay. Now you have to consider a assumed mean value over here, that is the middle one. Now replace this, then find the ui values. Now let's find the fi ui. Now finally we need to find the summation of fi and summation of fi ui. By using the step deviation method, we apply the formula over here. So we got 57 plus 3 by 4. If we make it in decimal, we will get 57.1875, which is the approximate value is 57. Okay, now let's move to the next problem. Consider the following expenditure of food for households is given below. So daily expenditure in rupees is given and the number of households are given. Find the mean daily expenditure on food by a suitable method. So let's draw the table first. The class interval, then we have class mark, that is xi, and frequency, that is fi, and we have ey. Here we are going to use the step deviation method. Ey equal to xi minus a, that is assumed mean, divided by h. And finally we have fi ey. Now let's copy the class interval and then the frequency. Now let's find the class mark. Lower limit plus upper limit by 2. Then let's find the class width. So that is the subtracting the consecutive lower limits. So class width we found out 50. So now just add h to xi to get the next xi. So let's fill these values of xi just by adding h to it. Now we have to assume one value from xi column as a, that is the assumed mean. So that we can consider the middle value of the column. So let's take 225 as a. So now let's replace that a in the ui formula. So now ui will be equal to xi minus 225. That is, here xi is 125 minus 225 divided by 50. So that is minus 100 by 50, that is minus 2. So let's now calculate the other ui's similarly. Okay, so we filled up the ui values. Now let's calculate fi ui. So now similarly fill the fi ui values. Then finally we need to do the summation of fi, that is adding all the fi values. We get 25 over here and summation of fi ey. So that is minus 7 over here. So by step deviation method, apply the formula, that is x bar, that is the mean, equal to a plus summation of fi ui by summation of fi into h. So let's put the values over here. Now 225 minus 14, that is the mean is rupees 211. Now let's move to the next problem. Find the mean of each of the following frequency distribution. So the class interval is given and the frequency is also given. So this question is a 4 marks question. So let's draw the table first. First we put down all the class intervals, then the frequency. Now the class width will be equal to 20, that is the difference of the subsequent lower intervals. Lower limit. Then we have to calculate the xi, that is lower limit plus upper limit by 2. We got 60. Then just keep on adding the h value and we will get the next xi. So now in this way we got all the xi values over here. Now let's calculate the di. So this, we have to assume the assumed mean over here. Let's take 100 as assumed mean. So that is xy minus 100. So now 60 minus 100. So that is minus 40. In this way calculate the other values. Now ey is, similarly we can find the other way of ey as ey equal to di by g. So in this case what is g? G is the GCD, that is the greatest common divisor of all the values of di. So if you take a look, all the positive values over here are in dy. So 20 is the common divisor. Okay, so let's take 20 as g value over here. So now here minus 40 divided by 20, so ui will be minus 2. So this is another way you can find the ui value. Or you can apply the ui as equal to xi minus a by h. That formula will also work. So let's fill all the EI values. Now FI UI will be, we have to multiply and we will get the values. So now finally we need to find the summation of FI and the summation of FI UI. So first we will add the negative part, then the positive one. So we got 60 on. Now the mean will be, x bar will be equal to A plus G U bar. So here A is the assumed mean and G is all the GCD that we already found out, the GCD of all the DI. And what is U bar? U bar is the summation of FI UI divided by summation of FI. So now already we got the mean value. So let's take those values, summation of FI and summation of FI UI. So U bar is equal to summation of FI UI by summation of FI. Now put the values over here, 61 by 100, that is 0.61. Now mean will be equal to A plus G U bar. So A is assumed mean, that is 100, and G already we got 20, that is the GCD of all the DI, into U bar is 0.61. So if we calculate, we are getting 112.2. Now next move to the next problem. Find the mean of each of the following frequency distributions. So the class interval is given, frequency is also given. This is a 4 marks question. So let's make the table, class interval, and we put the frequency. Now calculate the class width, that is the difference of lower limits of the subsequent class interval. Now calculate the class mark, lower limit plus upper limit by 2. Then keep on adding the class width. Now let's calculate DI, that is xi minus A, that is the assumed mean. Here let us consider 37 as the assumed mean. So now calculate xi minus A, that is minus 10, then minus 5. In this way, let's fill all the DI values. Now UI will be DI by G. G is the GCD, that is greatest common divisor of all the DIs. That is the positive one we have to consider. So out of this, we can see that 5 is the common divisor. So now if we divide, we will get the UI value. Now we need to calculate the FI UI. So we filled out all the values of FI UI. Now do the summation of FI and we will get the summation of FI UI. So first calculate the negative part, then the positive one. So the mean is equal to A plus G into U bar, where U bar is equal to the summation of FI UI divided by summation of FI, and G is the GCD of all the DI. Now let's put the value of FI, summation of FI UI by summation of FI, we will get U bar, that is minus 9 by 70. The approximate value is minus 0.12. Now the mean will be A plus G into U bar. So A assumed mean is 37 plus G is 5 over here into U bar is minus 0.12. So 37 minus 0.60. The approximate value is coming 36.40. So this is the mean. So that's all for today. So we have completed the step deviation method, and I showed you some problems with this step deviation method. So if you like my video, please just hit the like button. And if you have any comments, or if you couldn't understand any problem or any other problem that is not given in my video, you can write it down in the comment section. Then I will try to come up with a new video with your problem. And if you like my video, please share this to your friends, okay, so that they can also learn from my video. And to get the upcoming videos that I'll be posting soon, so to get the notification for that, just you need to do one thing. You have to subscribe to my channel. So for that, you need to press the bell icon, and you will get the notification for the upcoming videos that I will be posting. So it's not only the statistics chapter I will be posting, there will be other chapters for your class 10 CBSE board. I keep on making the videos. So please be tuned in my channel so that you will get the notification of the upcoming videos. So that's all for today. Bye bye.